Welcome to this week's edition of Ask an MS Expert. I'm Jon Strum, and I'm the host of the Real Talk MS podcast. Each week, Real Talk MS reaches thousands of people in more than 100 countries around the world with the news that people affected by MS need to know. My wife, Jean, lived with progressive MS for 23 years, so I've had a front row seat experiencing all the ways that MS can impact a family. I'm a past member of the International Progressive MS Alliance Scientific Steering Committee, and currently I'm a district activist leader and trustee for the National MS Society. And I chair the Society's California Government Relations Advisory Committee. The MS Society's Ask an MS Expert webcast is designed to give us a place for the MS community to connect and to connect you with MS experts who are ready to answer your questions on the topics that impact people affected by MS every day. Please feel free to post your comments and questions on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. MS navigators are online throughout today's program, answering those questions and connecting you to resources. It's never too early to begin financial planning for the future. That's true for everyone. But evaluating your income, assets, debts, benefits, and other resources is especially important when it comes to being well prepared for a future living with MS. Joining us today to discuss financial planning for people with MS is Dick Bell. Dick is a financial advisor in Calabasas, California, who has worked with over 600 clients who are living with MS. Welcome, Dick. Thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure, John. Thank you.
I hope you'll start us off by explaining what financial planning is and why it's important.
Financial planning is really managing your money or your limited resources to get the most value in your unique situation. It's kind of like bringing the future up to today and saying, what changes do I need to make to get to where I want to be? So think of the book Alice in Wonderland. Alice is going down a road and she comes to a fork in the road and she doesn't know which way to go. And up in the tree is the Cheshire Cat. And she says, which way should I go? And Cheshire Cat said, where are you going? She said, I don't know. He said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So that's the challenge with financial planning. Most people don't really know where they're heading. And if we liken this to a driving trip, back in the day, if I wanted to drive from Los Angeles to New York, I could go to AAA and I could get a triptych, which was a loose leaf spiral bound trip that shows me all the roads all along the way to get me to where I want to be. So today people are using Google Maps. You may use Waze or something like that, that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. Well, the easy part about a driving trip is you know where you're starting. I'm starting here at home. Okay, because when you go to Waze or Google Maps, they want you to put in what's your starting destination, what's your ending destination. And I think with financial planning, one of the challenges is, for most people, is they don't know their starting point. And for the people that I advise, said you really need to know what is your you are here position. So that's listing, what do I have working for me? What do I have in the way of assets? I've got my bank accounts, I've got checking accounts, I've got retirement accounts, I have maybe a home, I have some debts. Getting a grasp on all that is the starting point, and it's relatively simple to do. So
living with MS requires a different way of thinking about money and planning for the future. Tell me, what additional factors do people with MS have to take into consideration when planning their finances?
I think there are two major considerations. One is the folks with MS pretty much realize they are not going to have a normal working expectancy. They're not going to work to a normal retirement age. So they've got to be able to get money aside faster or adjust their lifestyle to fewer earning years. And secondly, I think they realize that they're going to have more medical bills, perhaps care bills down the line than the normal person. And they have to be able to plan for that.
What are some practical approaches that people can use to get their finances in order?
Well, certainly knowing where you are to start with is that's paramount. But after that, you have to know, where's my money going right now? So if we're looking at it practically, if somebody were wanting to find out, where am I spending money? I would say, go back into your last 2 months of your checking account and your credit cards and list, where did you spend money? And many times in that, you will find, I really didn't need to buy that thing. So knowing where your money is going is important. Also knowing, where's my money coming from? And that's, I have my earned income. Do I have any investment income? Will I have potential inheritance? For most people, they're working with their earned income, but eventually you're not going to be earning. So it's either you at work or your money at work. That's why we have to get money aside for retirement when we're not working, to replace our loss of earned income.
We heard from Tanya, who's living with MS, and Tanya says that she's always felt overwhelmed by financial planning. But now that she's been diagnosed with MS, she needs to think more about her future and save as much as possible. So Tanya's wondering how to create a budget or a spending plan. What are all the things that Tanya should be thinking about?
Well, as we said earlier, she needs the "you are here" position, the "where am I spending money right now?" To take a hard look at that. And where is she saving money right now? Ideally, she's participating in a employer-sponsored retirement plan, so she has money going to savings. Ideally, she has an emergency fund. And that would be the first thing I would suggest that she have, if she doesn't, is to build up between 3 and 6 months of living expenses in cash in the bank. That makes a lot of anxiety go away for folks with MS. And there aren't many problems we have in life that aren't solved by having $1,000 in the bank. So once she knows where she is, where's the money being spent, then she's in a better position to say, what should I be doing instead? What would I prefer to be doing? The whole key to financial planning for folks is to be living on less than they have coming in. That's the message from the book, The Millionaire Next Door. And if you're not in that position, then you're not able to save and you're not able to get ahead. So Tanya will want to get out of debt as quickly as possible too.
As you mentioned a moment ago, a very common concern for people who are living with MS is whether or how long they can continue working. So what can someone do to best prepare in case they can't work as far into the future as they might like to?
They really need to understand what's going to replace their income if they can't work. There are two major sources. One would be an employer-sponsored disability plan. Group long and short-term disability at work can replace a significant amount of income. If somebody doesn't have that, they have undoubtedly been paying into Social Security, and they need to understand how Social Security disability income works as well.
And we're going to get into that in just a moment, but I heard you mention group disability benefits at work. What are the major things that you want to look for when you're reviewing your group disability benefits?
Yeah, I think the major questions people have with disability insurance is, number one, what is the definition of disability in the group insurance policy? The definition is probably going to be the inability to work in your own occupation for the first 2 years. After that, the inability to be gainfully employed. And I think we find with folks with MS, they tend to kind of tire out during the day and aren't able to work 8-hour days. So that's kind of the starting point of where they are going to become disabled. The other questions I'd be looking for is, how much am I going to get a month? When does it start and how long does it go? Typically, you're going to get 60% of pay. It's going to start after anywhere between 30 days of disability and 180 days of disability, and it will probably be payable to either your age 65 or your Social Security normal retirement age, which for most folks is age 67 now.
We heard from Cheryl, who wants to know about the very subject you mentioned a second ago, Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI. Cheryl has all the questions you said people need answers to. She wants to know, how does she qualify for benefits? She wants to know, how much will she get? And she wants to know, how long will she get it?
Sure. Social Security is a little different than a group disability. Social Security disability says you've got to be disabled for 5 months, and you've got to be totally disabled, not partially. And your disability's got to be expected to last for a year or end in your prior death. So Social Security disability is a lot harder to qualify for than a group disability benefit might be. Her benefit is going to be based on her earnings record, and she can check this out on the Social Security website, www.ssa.gov for government. That will tell her here's what she can expect upon her disability with Social Security.
We heard from Eli, who says he's concerned about his group health insurance if he becomes disabled to the point where he can't continue working. He wants to know whether he'll be eligible for Medicare, and he wants to know if there are other alternatives he should keep in mind. And most importantly, he says, will he be covered for his MS?
Yeah, great question. Because the Affordable Care Act, he will always be covered for his MS with health insurance, whether it's group or individual health insurance. So pre-existing conditions with MS are not an issue with health insurance. But if he's facing leaving his workforce, he has to, the concern is, what will I do for health insurance? He will either be offered COBRA coverage, which is the same group insurance coverage he has now for 18 months, could go as many as 29 months if you're disabled. He will not qualify for Medicare. The only way you get Medicare is if you are 65 or if you have been on Social Security disability for 24 months. But he will always have the availability of going to his state's pool, often called the exchange, used to be called the marketplace, where he'll be guaranteed he can buy health insurance there. But certainly a big issue because of the cost of health insurance, particularly for folks who are older, somebody in their 50s, early 60s. It's pretty expensive.
We heard from Victoria, who was diagnosed with MS last year. She recently changed jobs, and she says her new employer provides short and long-term disability insurance. Victoria's concerned that her MS diagnosis is a pre-existing condition. She knows she'll be covered for pre-existing conditions with her health insurance, but she wonders whether that's also true for the disability insurance.
It's a little bit different with the disability insurance. When one joins a new employer and you're offered the disability insurance, if it's employer-sponsored plan with the employer paying the premium, then you'll be automatically insured. However, if you look into the plan, you'll see that you will not be covered for any pre-existing conditions, typically for 12 months. That's not much of a problem for folks with MS. If they start a new job, they're obviously in good enough health to work that job. And after they're at that job a year, they'll have coverage, should have coverage for their pre-existing conditions with MS. For any other conditions, you fall off a ladder at home and hurt yourself, you'll be covered for that under the group disability policy.
You really can't talk about financial planning without looking at Social Security. 1 in every 7 retirees gets 100% of their income from Social Security, and 1 in every 3 retirees gets 90% of their income from Social Security. Obviously, Social Security is a very important part of retirement income planning. So, Dick, tell us, how is Social Security retirement income calculated?
Yeah, everybody knows that they're paying 6.2% of pay into the Social Security system, being matched by their employer on the first $140,000+ of income a year. So when Social Security does its calculation, it uses your highest 35 years to come up with the average income that needs to be replaced by Social Security. Now, if you've only worked 20 years, they're going to add 15 years of zeros into your calculation. So the more years you can work, getting 35 years of earnings on any basis is your best deal for Social Security. And certainly learning about the benefit by getting your Social Security statement, which used to be mailed to us, except it costs the government too much to do that. You can go online at www.ssa.gov and you can download your own statement that will show you, here's what I'm projected to have at retirement. Also shows you, here's what I'm projected to have upon disability.
For a dual income family, what's the best strategy for maximizing their lifetime Social Security retirement benefits?
Well, you'll see a lot of articles on the wisdom of delaying benefits for Social Security. Social Security retirement benefits are available to you as early as age 62. The normal benefit age for folks in the next few years is going to be age 67. Anybody who was born after 1960 is going to be age 67 for their full benefit. They can get a reduced benefit earlier, or they can get an 8% per year benefit by delaying from 67 till age 70. So for a dual income family, we see a lot of conventional wisdom that the higher earning individual delays his or her benefit till age 70. I did that in my own situation, and people would say, you could have taken it at 66. It's going to, you gave up those 4 years of income, and it takes me 12 and a half years to recover that. People say, well, you've got to live till age 82 and a half. If you delay till 70, well, no, I don't have to live till age 82 and a half. Either my wife or I have to, because if I die, she's going to step up to my higher benefit. So that's why maximizing the benefit for one person in the family certainly makes a lot of financial sense.
Heard from Sarah, who says she's 62, she's divorced, she's living with MS. Sarah never worked long enough to build much of a Social Security benefit based on her own earnings record, she says, but she's heard about spousal benefits and survivor benefits. How do they work, and could they be of any value to someone like Sarah?
Yeah, they might be a great value to Sarah. If Sarah was married for 10 years and got divorced and did not remarry before age 60, she's entitled to a benefit based on her ex-spouse's earnings record, which could be quite significant. She could get half of that spouse's earnings record, Social Security benefit when she turns age 67 herself, or whatever her normal Social Security retirement age is. Furthermore, if her ex passes away, she will step up to whatever benefit he or she had earned. That's what a survivor benefit is. So Sarah really should become familiar again on the Social Security website. What's a spousal benefit, and how much and what's a survivor benefit? How do I qualify for those benefits? There's about $10 billion of Social Security benefits go unclaimed every year because people don't know that they qualify for benefit on somebody else's earnings record.
To your point, financial planning can be complex. It can even feel overwhelming to a lot of people. Can you share some resources that people can access to help organize their finances and better plan for their future?
Well, the National MS Society has got an excellent guide for that, their adapting booklet. And one just has to contact a navigator at the National MS Society and to receive a copy of that one. But one of the other better resources I would suggest for just basic financial planning really is a radio show host named Dave Ramsey, Ramsay. I don't agree with everything Dave says in financial planning, but he has very good basic ideas, concepts, and follow through people. So those who are Ramsey devotees tend to do better financially because they get out of debt fast and they work very hard at doing so. So I would just Google Dave Ramsey. He's got a lot of podcasts and things that would be of better value to an awful lot of people.
Well, thanks for sharing so much really valuable information about financial planning and planning for your own future. Now, I'd like to ask you to share your top 3 takeaways that you'd like our viewers to remember.
I would say, first of all, for anybody, is have an emergency fund equal to at least 3 months of your spending. It gives you a comfort level, and when you spend some of that money, you're going to be uncomfortable and you're going to fight to put money back into that. It's certainly a key point for anybody in financial planning is to have some money in the bank that they can draw upon. Secondly, they really should do the "you are here" position of what do I own and what do I owe? A listing of their bank accounts, listing of their debt. That puts them in a far better position to focus on how do I improve my position in the future. And I would say third, live on less than you have coming in. And the more you can power save, I've seen young couples really act like starving students for just a year or two just to get rid of debt, not buying any new clothing, not taking any vacations, really focusing on getting out of debt. So I think the lack of debt as you go into retirement is critical. I never met anybody in retirement who said, "Boy, having a mortgage is really smart." No, it's not.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for your great questions, and thanks for being with us today, Dick.
Thank you.
Before we close, I want to remind you that the National MS Society's MS Navigator team is your best partner when it comes to connecting you to the very best information and resources on living with MS. You can reach an MS Navigator by phone, email, or through the Society's website by chat. For information and resources about MS, please visit the Society's website. You'll find research updates and news, information on connection programs like self-help groups and MS Friends, ways for you to get involved, and you'll find out about upcoming events that are taking place near you. And to learn more about the financial planning topics that we talked about today, please visit nationalmssociety.org/financial planning. Remember, you can connect with the National MS Society and others affected by MS on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I hope you'll join me every week on the Real Talk MS podcast, where I continue the conversation that we start here. You'll find Real Talk MS at realtalkms.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. I'd like to thank Dick Bell for joining us today. Please remember that a recording of this webcast will be available at the Society's website at nationalmssociety.org/MSExpert, as well as on Facebook and YouTube. I hope you'll join us at this same time for next week's edition of Ask an MS Expert. You can always find our upcoming program topics on the National MS Society's website. And now I have a favor to ask each of you. Getting your feedback on today's webcast is important. So if you're watching on Facebook Live, you'll see a link to a survey pinned to the comments section. On YouTube, you'll find that link in the program description. Completing the survey makes a real difference. The information you provide helps us continuously improve, and it helps shape future programs. The survey takes just 1 minute, So I hope you'll take a minute to fill it out. On behalf of Dick Bell and National MS Society, I want to thank you once again for joining us. Please stay safe and make healthy choices.